Welcome to the Big Mike Fun Podcast, where you'll learn about advanced wealth building strategies from real estate investing to creating massive ROI and secured retirement profits. So pour yourself a cup of coffee, grab a notepad, and lean in, because Big Mike has got the mic, starting now.
Welcome to the Big Mike Fun Podcast. I'm the Big Mike
Zlatnik, and today it is my pleasure and a privilege to welcome Beth Underhill. Hi, Beth.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you very much for coming on a podcast. Just a quick introduction. Beth is a serial entrepreneur focused mostly on businesses that help women, which is wonderful. She is a tough cookie. She's a power lifter. She beat cancer. She lives with her wonderful husband, her rock star daughter, and 4 dogs. And that's awesome. Dogs are like kids, so you have a big family.
We do have a big family. We've always ever since I got introduced to my husband, I didn't grow up having puppies or animals, I should say. But when I got introduced to my husband, he had a golden retriever. And since we've been together for 25 years, we've actually had 13 dogs. So we love dogs.
Well, that's wonderful. Yeah, pets are like kids. Some people, you have dogs. I have a cat, but it's part of the family. That's awesome. So, where do you live? Where's home?
Sure. Home is actually in Cincinnati, Ohio. So in the Midwest.
Got it. That's wonderful. You get kind of just call it the steady Eddie market for real estate, but you get some good cold weather. I like cold weather. Some people hate cold weather. Cincinnati can get cold from the lakes, get snow from the lakes, right?
It can't. Well, we're not like as close to the lakes. Actually, I grew up near Cleveland, so we definitely, we had the lake effect growing up. But actually, I really like the temperature year round in Cincinnati. We never get extremely hot in the summer, and our winters, occasionally we have the cold snap, but I can handle 30 and 40 degree temperatures. That's not anything too terrible to go out in and still do things. So, and we're pretty lucky. Maybe we get one big snow a year and then that's it. So yeah, the falls here are really beautiful. And of course we love the springtime when everything blossoms. So it's nice to have the seasons.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And my 2 cents is I used to live in Rochester, New York. It's like Cleveland gets a lot of snow and gets cold, but I guess Cincinnati is much more mild, a little bit more pleasant. So thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
All right, let's jump into how do you help women in real estate? Just talk a little bit about your journey. What is it that you do? Kind of your whole adventure.
My whole adventure in real estate or just in general in life?
Well, real estate or life, whatever. I mean, you are the guest on a podcast. You can talk about whatever you like. So we're very flexible. Folks, they love to hear great stories. So tell the story.
Yeah. Well, I'll share a little bit about my real estate journey. In 2018, my husband and I started fixing and flipping single family homes. We have owned and operated an outdoor living space construction company for 24 years, actually. And we thought that maybe this would be a natural progression to those winter months when the temperatures did dip. We could actually bring our crews inside and they could be renovating houses instead of building outdoor living spaces outside. So we thought it was a natural progression but we didn't realize that it was going to be like another job. Nothing wrong with that. However, once COVID hit, our outdoor living space construction company went through the roof. And, the only way that people were going to be able to gather was outdoors. And so we were inundated with business, which is a good thing to have, or a good problem to have, I should say. However, it just didn't line up then with fixing and flipping single family homes. So that's when I pivoted actually into the commercial real estate space. And I immediately just started networking with people, hopping into Facebook groups and on the phone, just connecting. And lo and behold, I actually made a really great connection with a group of gentlemen who were newly forming a company, and they were looking to take down some properties via syndications. and they asked for, hey, would you be able to come and help us out with marketing and investor relations and web design and so forth? And I thought, why not? This is going to help me to actually get involved and get into the real estate space, probably much quicker than any other way. So I did. And funny thing is that, of course, I ended up, it was myself as the only female. With then we added more team members to our group, but it was myself and then 5 other gentlemen. So it was an interesting journey for the first year, me being the only female, and sometimes almost not feeling, and this was more on me than it was on them, but feeling like I didn't have necessarily a voice, and probably because I was still wet behind the ears, and I was the one that knew the least about syndications and so forth. But as I've grown and as I've evolved, I recognize, like, hey, we need more women in this space. And so a lot of what I do and talk about, especially on Instagram and TikTok, is how I can help females actually get into this space more, bring more women into it. So I have a lot of young, 20, I would say on average, 23 to 27-year-olds reach out to me on TikTok. I'm probably on the phone with them, maybe, I don't know, 3, 4 calls a week, just talking to them about, what is a path that they can start taking. Sometimes they don't necessarily have the capital. So how can they get into it without the capital? Well, of course, there's, numerous ways, including creative finance deals and so forth, or they can do what I did, which was essentially market my way into a group and be able to help them build, their dream by doing things like marketing and investor relations and so forth. So, but I've had this history for a long time of always wanting to help women. I owned and operated an all women's fitness studio for many years, and really, it was just about women's empowerment. I wanted to help women who maybe were struggling with, if it was their weight or how they felt about themselves, really just provide a home that women could come to and feel comfortable with. A lot of times you hear, especially in the fitness world, women, if they feel like they're not capable of either lifting the weights or doing a particular program because of the way they look, they won't attend classes. And so we try to really be this all-inclusive entity that, we are very accepting of women of all shapes, sizes, and so forth, and just wanted them to, feel like it was a family. However, towards the latter part of me owning the studio, I was diagnosed with cancer. And although I had a tremendous amount of support from those very women, I realized at that point that, maybe Beth needs to be taking care of herself instead of how, taking care of all of these other people. I needed to focus on myself. So that's what I did. And it was good timing too. My daughter was going to be a freshman, or she was heading into her freshman year of high school. And I thought to myself, you know what, I have only one child, and I want to be the most present parent for some of the best times that are going to be of her life. And I wanted to just make sure that I was available and there for everything. If it was volleyball games, basketball games, lacrosse games, she was a very athletic individual, proms, however I could be there to show my support. And honestly, it really was the best decision I ever could have made.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that wonderful journey. And it's a great journey. It's it's life, and you are absolutely right that in real estate, it is generally man-dominated field for whatever historical reason. It's not even clear why it happened, but it just kind of happened. So we most certainly need more women in the space. It's almost like, I look at it from my perspective. We welcome great women on the team. In fact, we had new manager of investor relations who joined us in March, and we just had so much success and happiness having her join the team. Mm-hmm. And it's exactly what you described. Women are absolutely great at certain traits, much better than men. And it has to be, without being stereotypical, there's certain talents that are better usually for women. In investor relations and marketing, they're much better than men. I absolutely admit and accept that when it comes to certain things, there are better people who will do a much better job. And the job of any leader in any organization is to recognize the strengths and then the shortcomings and get the right talents to help the gaps in essence. So I completely support what you're doing. It makes a lot of sense, and continue. I'm just curious to hear. So do you have today a coaching service for women, or you just do it on a volunteering basis, or you just it's a business that you have, and continue your journey. So you're still working with that group of men in that field in the multifamily space. Just talk a little bit about, is that the next step, next evolution? Obviously, you had the cancer challenge. You beat the cancer. Mm-hmm. You were there for your only daughter, who is a rock star, and that's wonderful. So just continue. And what opportunities you see ahead? Like how can you make further difference helping women be successful in this field?
Sure. So, currently right now, I spend my time, and it's completely volunteer, to speak to a lot of the women that reach out to me. I have, and each one of them, I invariably always ask the question, do you have some kind of mentorship program? And so I've been kind of toying with that idea, trying to figure out what that could look like. I know I kind of can't keep going down this path of the one-on-one time, and not because I don't have the time to do it, but it would just make more sense for me to scale it in a sense where maybe I'm speaking with maybe 10 women at one time, and taking an hour and a half out of my day, and that would be accomplishing a lot more. I do believe there's when you get a group of people together, number one, there's always going to be like a better energy. And then, if maybe, someone asks a question that someone else is either thinking they don't want to ask that question, or maybe they haven't thought of, it's just a great opportunity for collaboration and for everyone to learn. So yes, that is on the ticket, so to speak, for 2024 to formulate that, put it together, and see how that can look, because I do want to help more women, and I think that is going to be the best way that I can help as many as possible, as many as myself will, my availability, my time, and so forth will allow. I do still work with the group of gentlemen. We've actually, since we formed, which was 2 years ago, right around this time, we have a 70 unit multifamily. We have 126 bed student housing, another 252 student bed housing that we just closed on in August. And then we're looking to close on another one here coming up in December. And that one it's a combination of student housing, and also there's a component of just young professionals, as well as some empty nesters that live in this particular multifamily / student housing property. But we're going after more. We have a hotel conversion in Florida that we're working on as well too. And there's some other things in the pipeline. So we'll see what 2024 brings. Although, we're in some interesting times, especially with interest rates and so forth. We've been very fortunate that some of the properties we have closed on, we've been able to assume some loans that still have a nice period of time in which those rates are still left, like 7 years. So, we may or may not still have that property in 7 years. Who knows? Or we, hopefully our with what's going on in the economy, interest rates and so forth, some of that might change, and will maybe some of these rates will come down. So we'll see. But yeah, excited to continue the journey. In continuing finding more properties, building what I term as my legacy that I plan to leave to my daughter. And in between that, I'm looking at just some other opportunities in just different asset classes, like residential assisted living facilities. We have one, or I shouldn't say we, but with another group, we've looked at one that is off market, and we have a good relationship with the seller. So we're hoping to creatively finance that. And then my husband and I are actually going to be venturing down to Antigua, where we are keeping our fingers crossed that we will have a hotel property under our belt here coming up in 2024. Everyone asks, why Antigua? No particular reason other than this property just happened to come to us. It's a great cash flowing asset. and we like the owners. The owners are tired. They're ready to just move on from it. And they've also offered some seller financing. So I think anytime, especially right now, that you can take advantage of some seller financing opportunities, especially if it's structured the right way, it's never a bad thing to hop on them and see what you can do to improve the bottom line and continue to make those opportunities thrive.
Yeah, that's a great set of comments and thoughts. So let me just provide a little bit of a feedback or color or just kind of
Sure.
thoughts here. So the best way to scale, of course, there's a few ways to scale. I think you're on the right path, right? So normally, if you do one-on-one, it's limited. Your time is precious, so
Hmm.
you can do one-to-many. Typically, that means presentations. That means speaking in front of groups, webinars, Zoom. So going from one-to-one to one-to-many is a natural path. Of course, there are women-only conferences.
Right.
You can become a speaker, can make an impact that way. Especially if you have a great story with you beating cancer and having women only studio. So you have a little bit of that background that makes it wonderful.
Hmm.
So just I'm listening to you. I'm providing a little bit of comments and thoughts because you have the necessary, all the great ingredients that be able to inspire other women and to help them. So
Hmm.
the other path is obviously book. If you have some thoughts that you can get
Hmm.
organized, that you can share as well. But that's just a couple of quick. I think you're on the right path. And then the other comments, certainly interesting to hear that you're doing deals in this environment. It's been pretty hard to do deals, and
Hmm.
the loan assumption type of deals, creative finance, is one of the more interesting ways to get it done. If you can get
Hmm.
that kind of financing and you can get also a great price, that's combination of the two typically can make it interesting. Folks have brought some deals in that space to me, and just to give you a little color.
Hmm.
When they say, well, seller finance or assumption of a loan, it's all wonderful, but the big question that I like to ask is this really a good deal?
Right.
Because typically, having a great mortgage is an asset. So can you get a better price if you were to finance the deal yourself versus assuming somebody else's debt?
Hmm.
But the difficulty today, the credit markets are super tight, and loan to values are very low, requiring a lot of equity. It's super hard. So if you can do the deal with seller financing or some kind of primary financing and seller carry mix, it's certainly absolutely could be wonderful. So
Hmm.
good luck with that. Good luck with the hotel. Hopefully, just my 2 cents is make sure you understand the business because the people I've seen people do this. They do one thing good, they do a lot of that, and then they get bored and
Hmm.
they go to
Oh, sure.
look at something else.
Right.
And the
Right.
challenge is, what do you know about hotel operation business? If you've done multifamily, you've built expertise there. That's a little bit of a different line of business. Just be mindful of that. So
Oh, well, I actually used to run a hotel. So so
that's the
therein
answer to the
lies.
question, right? You know the business.
Well, and it's why, honestly, and this was, of course, this is back in the 90s. However, I was in my early 20s, and I'm giving away my age, but that's okay. I don't care. But I was kind of left to my own devices. I had a general manager who really was very hands off. Monday through Thursday, 9 to 3, 9 to 4, and he would be walking out the door, and he's like, "Beth, the hotel's in your hands." So I was left, really dealing with the time period during a day when more things would happen. We had a lot of business travelers, so they were always checking in somewhere like after 5 o'clock. If there was ever anything that would happen in the lounge or the restaurant, it usually was, somewhere around 7, 8 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. But I also was in charge of the catering operations. So I was there anyways. I was there at night. I was there on the weekends. If we had weddings, if we had Mother's Day brunches and so forth. So I was very used to, what was going on. And I think I've just had this nagging, itch in me to get back to the hospitality industry. And so when this opportunity presented itself, I thought, why not? And it's already running it's a well-oiled machine already. I know there's things that we can do to actually improve it. But but yeah, I mean, you only live once, and why not? So if the opportunity makes sense, and which we will find out in a couple of weeks as when we visit it. If it makes sense, then sure, we're going to go for it. And if it doesn't, it's okay too. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah, I appreciate that clarification. I mean, it's back to the past, and it sounds like you have a passion for it, which makes a big difference. And obviously, experience helps. And good luck. I mean, hope it goes well. It's
Thank you.
an adventure, so for sure. How would folks reach out if they wanted to speak with you again? Women that would like to get some thoughts, some guidance from you, and of course, you are moving towards one-to-many model instead of one-to-one. But is
Right.
there a good website? Is there a good way to reach out with some, with some questions or some comments, some thoughts?
Sure, absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Investing with Beth. You can also go to my website. I've got two, Lifestyle Equities Group and also investingwithbeth.com. So either one of those two websites, or you can always shoot me a text, 513-470-1078. That is actually the quickest and easiest way to get in touch with me. So.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that information. That's great. Most people don't want to share the phone number. They don't want to get bugged, but thank you for sharing that. I love the website, Investing with Beth. Easy to remember.
It is easy to remember, and it's not just about investing, not just about investing your monies, but investing your time, investing your health, and I'm a huge fitness buff as well too. So I think there's a lot that you can kind of play off of that investing. It's not just investing monies. So.
Yeah, investing is really a journey. Sometimes it's a roller coaster, right? I mean, obviously, we're dealing with this environment today. Things go up and down. But in general, most of the investing, the way I think of it, it's a journey. It's a continuous journey. Because as you invest, you learn. Hopefully.
Right.
If you don't learn,
Right.
it's a different
What's
story.
the point? What's the point if you're not continually learning? Absolutely.
So thank you for coming on the podcast. Any final thoughts, comments, a good book recommendation, kind of final, you have the floor for the next couple of minutes. Anything final? Any suggestions? Obviously, a good book is a great way to finish. Just final
Sure.
thought.
A couple of books. I mean, actually, I've been reading quite a bit as of late, and my most recently read was actually The Go-Giver. I absolutely love that book, and I wish I would have discovered it so much sooner. And I always felt like I was a giver. I mean, a giver of time and resources, especially with my fitness studio and so forth. I don't know that my mind was necessarily in the same space as understanding just exactly, what a go-giver truly is. And so that's really just been shaping a lot of my thought over the last couple of months. And my husband, he sometimes struggles with sleep apnea, so he finds himself up in the middle of the night. And I woke up this morning, or he woke up this morning. I had already been up, and I'm like, "Hey, how'd you sleep?" He goes, "I didn't sleep very well last night, but I started listening to The Go-Giver." And he's like, "Wow." He goes, "I couldn't stop listening." And I was like, "Oh, that really made me excited." When my husband wants, is invested in something like that and really finds the value in it. So yeah, I think that'd be a great read for anyone who just might be looking for a mindset shift. But yeah, I think, reading, learning, positive self-talk, all of that can really make a difference, just in terms of how you approach your day, how you approach life, and of course, always with gratitude. Gratitude at the beginning of the day, gratitude at the end of the day. I think that can just be really helpful just for setting the tone of how you can conduct business and treat people and move through life.
That was wonderful. Thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that wisdom. And it is, I'll just add one comment. I'm trying to learn how to get better at being positive, because I remember there was this expression. I think this is I may be off, but this is an old comment I learned many years ago. And I'm not doing anything other than, I think this was written by Ernest Hemingway, just again for no other reason that I kind of recollect this. So his niece complained that life was very difficult, and the life can often be very difficult. He said, "My dear, if you only understood that the life was very difficult, things would get a lot easier. And that mindset, just accepting life is full of challenges and constantly focusing on the positive makes a big difference. And I certainly applaud your wisdom when you're sharing to focus on that. And thank you again. investwithbeth.com. I guess that's the website once again.
Investing with Beth. Yep.
Sorry, Investing with Beth.
Yep.
My apologies.
No, that's okay.
Thank you kindly for coming on a podcast. Appreciate you and wishing you a wonderful holiday season.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Big Mike Fund Podcast. To receive your copy of Mike's How to Choose a Smart Real Estate Fund book, head to BigMikeFund.com or visit Amazon and type Mike's slot dig. Keep listening and keep investing Big Mike style. See you on the next episode.